Today's class is Diseases of Lymph Nodes Part 3. In the last class we saw neoplasms of lymph nodes. The general term reticulosis is often used to indicate a proliferation of undifferentiated cells of the lymphoreticular system. Neoplasms of lymphoid tissue means malignant lymphoma, as benign neoplasm is almost unknown in lymphoid tissue. The neoplasms of lymph nodes are classified into two types, old and new. Old classification we have already discussed. We will see the new classification. New classifications. Undifferentiated lymphoma. This is a malignant proliferation of primitive cells having scanty cytoplasm and a round or oval nucleus with delicate chromatins and a small distinct nucleolus. Burkitt's lymphoma. It is regarded as a specific variant of this type of lymphoma. It has a peculiar geographic distribution, mostly seen in tropical Africa and New Guinea. Typically, Burkitt's lymphoma affects children and young adults. It has a great tendency of extranodal involvement such as jaws, ovaries, abdominal organs, retroperitoneum and the central nervous system. Untreated cases follow a rapid fatal course. This is a picture of a boy who is having Burkitt's lymphoma. Microscopically, the most striking feature is the starry sky pattern resulting from scattering of non-neoplastic histocytes containing phagocytosed nuclear debris among a monomorphic infiltrate of high primitive cells. This is a microscopic picture of Burkitt's lymphoma. You can see the starry sky pattern. Age. Majority of the patients are between the age of 4 and 8 years. Incidence gradually decreases as the age advances and only 6% of cases are seen over the age of 21 years. Sex. Males are involved more than the females at the ratio of 2:1. Mode of clinical presentation. A. Facial tumors are by far the most common presentation. B. The second most frequent tumor presentation is abdominal tumors. These fall into three main categories: retroperitoneal mass, liver enlargements, and ovarian tumors. C. Lesion in the central nervous system is the third mode of presentation with vertebral collapse and paraplegia. D. Intracranial lesions with cranial nerve palsies, unilateral or bilateral deafness, increasing drowsiness and headache are the features. E. Tumors in other sites like salivary glands, thyroid glands, skeletal tumors. Example, bones most frequently involved. The involved bones are femur, humerus, tibia and the ilium. The chief distinguishing feature between this tumor and osteosarcoma is the relative absence of pain in this tumor and breast. F. Involvement of peripheral lymph nodes is characteristically rare. Treatment. Burkitt's lymphoma is extremely sensitive to radiotherapy, but local radiotherapy has been followed by development of tumor in other sites. Radiotherapy to clinically detectable tumors should be supplemented by chemotherapy to deal with disseminated tumors. Histiocytic lymphoma. Lymph nodes involved by histiocytic lymphoma, that is reticulum cell sarcoma, may be matted together and contain large necrotic areas. The nodal architecture is totally or partially obliterated by proliferation of malignant histiocytes. Variations in cellular and nuclear shape are marked. The nuclei are large and vesicular with prominent nucleoli and thick nuclear membranes. Mitosis are common. Fibrosis with hyalinization of the stroma is sometimes prominent, separating the tumor cells in clusters of cones. This is a picture of histiocytic lymphoma. Next is lymphocytic lymphoma. The individual nodes are not adherent. They appear highly cellular and occasionally contain areas of necrosis. In poorly differentiated variant, the cells are larger than matured lymphocytes but smaller than histiocytes. The nuclei are round, oval, and irregular with focal chromatin clumping and a distinct nucleolus. This is a microscopic picture of lymphocytic lymphoma. Nuclear indentations are often present. In well differentiated lymphocytic lymphoma, the cells are similar to normal mature lymphocytes. It is very difficult to differentiate this type of lymphoma from chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Next is mixed lymphoma, otherwise called histocytic lymphocytic lymphoma. This designation should be restricted to tumors in which both histiocytes and lymphocytes are present in significant amounts. A nodular pattern of growth is common in the early stage, but majority, however, develop into a diffuse lymphoma of histiocytic type. Whether the concept of mixed lymphoma is valid, one needs to be substantiated. This is a picture of mixed lymphoma. The alternative possibility that the lymphocytes are non-neoplastic and that they represent a reaction to the tumor. Clinicopathogenic correlation. The pathogenesis of a particular lymphoma depends on the extension of the disease, cell type, nodular or diffuse pattern of growth and fibrosis. Stage 1 lesions have good prognosis, but unfortunately they comprise only one-third of all cases. The routine use of lymphangiography has demonstrated that most patients with non-Hodgkin's malignant lymphoma have widespread disease at the time of diagnosis. Spread by involvement of contagious lymph node groups is common in non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It is more common in the diffuse than in the nodular type. In regard to cell type, the average survival is longer for well-differentiated lymphocytic type, shorter for histiocytic variety, and intermediate for the poorly differentiated lymphocytic type. In all groups, the survival rates are better in patients with tumors with a nodular pattern of growth and those associated with significant degree of stromal fibrosis. In contradistinction to Hodgkin's disease, non-Hodgkin lymphomas involve mesenteric lymph nodes quite commonly. Non-Hodgkin lymphomas have a much greater tendency to begin or at least to present clinically as extranodal tumors than Hodgkin's disease. The bone marrow and the spleen are the most common sites of extranodal spread. Thank you for listening. See you in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.